The Last Frontier. Home to 17 of North America's tallest mountains, more coastline than the rest of the United States combined, and an average person-to-land ratio of 1 square mile, Alaska truly is a place to find adventure. Come with us as we experience the majestic beauty throughout this untouched state and show you how to have the perfect 7-day Alaskan cruise.
To experience Alaska, we booked a 7-day cruise leaving from Seattle. While there are many cruise ship companies, we booked with Holland America due to the itinerary and the scheduled sail through the iconic Glacier Bay. Not sure what to expect on a cruise where we had to bring winter coats, we eagerly traveled to Pier 91 where we would board our Alaskan cruise.
As we walked onto the ship, we were reminded by just how huge cruise ships are. The cruise ship was quite literally a city on the water, and we couldn't help but be excited as we got on. After boarding, we grabbed a bite to eat and headed down to check out our room. We opted to book an obstructed sea view to save a bit of money, and not quite sure what exactly that meant, we were anxious to see it in person. When we got there, we were pleasantly surprised as there was actually a lot of light coming in and a decent view of the sea through the life rafts. In what felt like no time, we set sail and officially began our journey to Alaska. We spent the evening relaxing and enjoying the beautiful views as we sailed through the Puget Sound.
Our second day was our sea day. With not a lot on the itinerary, Jason and I were looking forward to just relaxing and enjoying the views. We sailed on the Eurodam, which was finished in 2007 and is one of Holland America's largest signature ships. With pickleball, a fitness center, ping pong, 10 different restaurants, a variety of pools, shows, activities, and games, we had plenty to keep us occupied. Our relaxing day at sea flew by. Little did we know that the rest we got would prove to be essential for the next 4 action-packed days exploring the spectacular state of Alaska.
We woke up early the next morning, excited to take in the views as we approached Juneau. As we looked out, we were surrounded by towering mountains and breathtaking fjords. Off in the distance, we even saw our first whale of the trip.
Wow! As we arrived in the capital city of Alaska, we were blown away. Nestled between the Gastineau Channel and towering mountains, Juneau is surrounded by stunning scenery. The colorful buildings, countless waterfalls, and ambient fog made it feel mystical, and we couldn't wait to explore. As we disembarked, we headed straight to the downtown area to do a bit of shopping and get a feel for the town before heading on our whale watching tour.
After exploring a bit, we headed over to our much anticipated whale watching. Widely recognized as one of the best places in Alaska to see whales, we were full of anticipation as we boarded the whale watching boat. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait long to see something. After 10 minutes of searching, we found what would become one of the coolest humpback whale interactions of the entire trip. We saw a mom playing and teaching her calf how to bubble net fish. It was truly beautiful to see the nurturing and cooperative nature of this interaction between a mom and her calf.
After watching for a while, we headed just 15 minutes farther out where we saw a sleeping humpback whale. Jason and I learned that unlike humans who are involuntary breathers, humpback whales are voluntary breathers, meaning that every breath for them is conscious and under control. As such, whales sleep by turning off one half of their brain while the other watches out for predators and focuses on breathing. It was amazing to learn about and see this interaction in person. We then went over to a buoy where we were able to see some sea lions. On the way back to the harbor, we spotted 2 more humpback whales, which surfaced and dove right next to us. We were truly amazed at how many whales we were able to see in such a short time.
The next stop on our excursion was the famous Mendenhall Glacier. This glacier is 13.6 kilometers long and is a beautiful baby blue color. We learned that glacier ice gets its beautiful blue color as ice absorbs every color except blue, which is then reflected back to our eyes. We began our time at the glacier by taking a 1-mile hike to the powerful Nugget Falls. After Nugget Falls, we headed to the official lookout where we were truly able to take in the grandeur of the glacier. It was truly beautiful to see, and the sheer size of the glacier was pretty impressive. After the viewpoint, we stopped briefly by the visitor center to learn a bit more about the history of the glacier, and then headed back to the cruise ship after our action-packed day. Juneau was truly breathtaking and kicked off our trip to Alaska on the perfect note with beautiful wildlife and stunning landscapes around every corner.
We woke up the next morning with eager anticipation to experience Glacier Bay National Park. As one of the main reasons we booked with Holland America, we were super excited to sail through this national park that covers 3.3 million acres. To our dismay, when we first looked out the window, a deep fog meant that we could only see a few feet off the ship. Thankfully, the sun started to shine and burn off the fog. In a matter of 30 minutes, we started to get our first views of this breathtaking park. Characterized by towering snow-capped mountains, fjords, and coastal rainforests, our jaws dropped as the fog cleared and we looked off the ship. With the sun shining and no wind, it was an absolutely perfect day to be in Glacier Bay.
As we were looking out, we got our first glimpse of sea otters, which was super fun to see. We also saw glacial ice, which was beautiful as it floated in the turquoise water. In what felt like no time, we were passing our first glacier of Glacier Bay. The intricate patterns and colors woven into the glacial ice was super cool to see. As we continued through Glacier Bay, there was even more glacial ice in the water, and we even started to see seals swimming around. We soon reached our final destination in Glacier Bay, Johns Hopkins Glacier. Johns Hopkins Glacier is one of the few glaciers that is still advancing rather than receding. At over 1 mile wide and 250 feet tall, it is truly a sight to behold. The area nearby Johns Hopkins Glacier was surrounded by seals and their pups basking in the sun on glacial ice. The seals were adorable, and it was super fun to see them relaxing and sliding around on the ice.
While we were there, we were lucky enough to see glacier calving, which was spectacular. It was truly humbling to see and feel the power of the cracking sound followed by tumbling ice and the resulting waves. After about an hour admiring Johns Hopkins Glacier, we made our way out of the bay. On the way out, we saw a lone humpback whale, which was beautiful and the perfect way to end our afternoon in this spectacular place. We loved every second of our time in Glacier Bay, and it truly was one of the highlights of the trip. After what was already an incredible day, we headed just a few hours to Icy Strait to round off our day.
Serving as a cruise port destination only, Icy Strait is a beautiful set of buildings tucked against the water. After disembarking, we walked along the water to the salmon cannery, where we learned a bit about the salmon canning industry. While exploring, we got major Norway vibes, which we loved. After exploring the area along the water, we took a beautiful gondola ride up to the top of the mountain. At the top, we took a short walk to Hidden Lake. After our walk, we rode the gondola down and back up a few more times to take in the beautiful views and sunset over the water. This was the perfect way to end our breathtaking day in Southeast Alaska.
The next morning, we arrived in Sitka. Known for its Russian influence, breathtaking coastal landscapes, and a variety of wildlife, Sitka was the part of the trip I was personally most excited for. We booked a tour to see otters, bears, and raptors to get a taste of all the wildlife in this region. Our tour started with a boat ride to find the adorable and playful sea otters. On the way out, we spotted humpback whales again swimming in the harbor. This was an incredible surprise, and we were not expecting to see them. After enjoying the whales for a bit, we headed farther out of the harbor to find what is known as a raft of sea otters.
These furry animals have no natural predators and spend most of their day searching for food to fuel their incredibly active metabolism. Sea otters eat 20 to 30% of their body weight on average each day to have enough energy to maintain their body temperature in the cold waters. It was super fun to see these otters, and Rachel and I thought it was particularly cute to see just how social they are. After the otters, we made a quick stop to see some sea lions on a buoy before heading up the channel on a scenic ride to the Salmon Hatchery.
As we approached the hatchery, we began to see thousands of salmon swimming and jumping in the water. It was pretty amazing to see so many salmon and watch the circle of life unfold right before our eyes. Our initial motivation of heading to the hatchery was to see a brown bear. However, with no luck, we turned to head back to the harbor.
On the way back, a member of our group saw a brown spot along the coast and called to the captain as they thought they saw a brown bear. The captain quickly turned around, and as we approached, we saw that it was in fact a brown bear who had just caught his lunch. This was our first time seeing a bear in the wild, and it was a super cool experience. With our day off to the perfect start, seeing whales, otters, and a wild bear, we headed back to the dock.
Once there, we boarded a bus which took us to a bear sanctuary. Living in this sanctuary are 6 bears, which were all rescued after tragic accidents to their mothers. It was truly a privilege to be so close to and learn more about these powerful animals. After the bear sanctuary, we headed to Raptor Facility, where we got to see all sorts of birds of prey. It was amazing to see the sheer size of these birds. After the raptors, we got dropped off at the city and had around an hour to explore before heading back to the ship. We enjoyed walking the small city of Sitka and even got some Russian-style dumplings, which were super fun to try. After our dumplings, we headed back to the boat. Sitka truly had a piece of everything, with whales, otters, seals, salmon, bears, birds of prey, and even pieces of Alaska history and culture. Experiencing all of this in one place was truly a highlight of the trip.
The next morning we arrived in our final stop in Alaska, Ketchikan. Ketchikan is known for its Native American cultural heritage and being the salmon capital of the world. Excited to experience both of these aspects of Ketchikan, we disembarked and headed to the famous Creek Street. Known for its picturesque boardwalk along the creek, Creek Street is a must-see attraction in Ketchikan. As you walk along the creek, you can see tons of salmon swimming upstream, making their final journey to lay eggs.
You can also see many who have already completed their journey and been pushed downstream as what are known as zombie fish. Many salmon species die after spawning, playing a critical ecological role in completing the circle of life, giving off nutrients to the surrounding ecosystem. Learning about salmon and seeing their life cycle throughout our trip was one of the unexpected highlights for us. As we continued our walk, we even spotted some harbor seals swimming up the freshwater creek trying to catch an easy meal. After Creek Street, we headed to Saxman Village, where we learned about the art of totem carving, as well as learned about the locals' culture and traditional dancing. While there, we were also able to meet Nathan Jackson, who is world-renowned for his totem craftsmanship.
Our excursion to Saxman Village was refreshingly different, and as always, we loved learning about other cultures, traditions, and ways of life. We also have a newfound respect for totem carving and the effort that it takes to do this craft. As we headed back to the cruise ship, we made one last stop for some Dungeness crab. This was my first ever time having crab, and it was amazing. The tender and moist crab meat dipped in butter had a sweet and succulent flavor that I absolutely loved. If you have the chance to try fresh crab on your trip to Alaska, we would highly recommend it.
We woke up the next morning sad that it was our final full day on our cruise. We spent the morning relaxing and savoring the views. We even saw orcas off in the distance, which was amazing to see, and our first orcas of the trip. We arrived at Victoria, Canada at 8 p.m. Most people opt to go to the Butchart Gardens, but as it was already getting dark, we opted to walk around the downtown area and get some dessert. We began our exploration of Victoria at the Parliament Building, which was beautifully lit up. After that, we walked along the water to Chinatown and then back down Government Street. On the way back, we stopped at Chocolat Favoris for a delicious chocolate-dipped ice cream cone. While our time at Victoria was short, we loved the city and committed to go back and spend a longer period of time there in the future.
As we got back on board and began sailing back to Seattle, we found ourselves once again reminiscing on our amazing trip to the state of Alaska. While initially unsure if we would like a cruise where we packed winter jackets, it turned out to be an amazing experience. While we would have liked to stay a little longer in each location, the cruise was a super convenient and affordable way to see so much in such a short time. As we say, travel is truly a privilege, and getting to see the incredible nature and culture that exists in this part of the world was no exception. The beautiful wildlife, breathtaking landscapes, and rich cultural heritage were nothing short of inspiring. As always, if you have the opportunity to experience Alaska for yourself, we couldn't recommend it enough.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would really help us out if you gave it a like and subscribed. We have tons more travel content we are excited to show you, and as always, we hope you have an amazing day.